Good, beautiful morning, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. My name is William Michael Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach. And today I have with me the energy of my guardian angel, John, who wanted to talk about why the human race is enslaved. What he originally titled this is Words Sweetly Spoken by the Devil. Is what he told me to call this originally. Words spoken sweetly by the devil. And it's about why most humans are enslaved. And I don't normally get communication about the political realms of this physical world. But today, John said it was very important. I had watched a clip of, actually several clips of the leaders in California, Gavin Newsom and the mayor there. And there was a particular clip where Gavin Newsom is actually dancing around as he talks about land speculation. And he actually looks like he's in joy and he's in glee about what has happened in California. You see the same kind of out-picturing expressions on the mayor of Los Angeles. And I don't want to just focus on them, but John said it was really important you understand that many politicians speak words very sweetly, and they lull you into a sense of disillusionment. He said, like in the scriptures of your Christian mythology, where you have the serpent speak to Eve, and the serpent speaks sweetly to Eve and convinces her to eat and share this apple with Adam. He said, you're seeing the exact same thing in earth today, that many of your politicians speak very sweetly and they lull you into deception and wickedness. These are his words, not mine. By deception and wickedness, it means those things that are detrimental to your society, your families, and your own well-being for the benefit of a select few. Now, I want to go back to that clip. I can't share it with you because that's not my thing to share the clip, but you can go find it on YouTube where Gavin Newsom actually is doing a happy dance. Literally, his body language is showing him happy. I came across a body language expert that was analyzing it, and everything that my wife and I saw in this clip, this guy just confirmed. But I want to bring back to what John wants me to stay focused on, this understanding that you have learned to hear the words of your leaders as if they are the truth, and you have forgotten that it is the acts of man that one must pay attention to. The acts of people are more truthful than the words they shall ever speak to you. The actions of people are more the truth than the words they shall ever speak to you. You find many of your countries are now indebted, where your wealth is no longer your wealth, it is someone else's. The function of debt is the representation of just how corrupt and deceptive leaders are. The greater the debt, the greater the deception. The greater the debt, the greater the deception of your leaders. The greater the debt, the more sweetly you have been spoken to. The greater the debt, the more you have been lulled into illusion and lie and deception. For the fruits of a man's labors speak the truth of his actions. Debt is an aberration and not a function of God. Let me clarify this again. Debt is an aberration and not a function of God. For in the kingdom of God there is no debt, there is abundance and prosperity. Look upon the apple tree and you will see that but a single apple can create an entire orchard. But you become so lulled into thinking that the sweet sounds of their voices is sufficient enough to articulate that the truth is going to be spoken and lived. And yet you can examine the very nature of what is occurring in your world today. The mere function of debt indicates great theft. Your wealth has been stolen from you, and it is no wonder so many of you live in poverty and suffering, because you have been lulled into the deceptions of these dark ones, these agents of evil that steal and take and harm at your expense. And many of you are good and right and just. Many of you that suffer are good and right and just. But you have been deceived by those who have proclaimed that they would liberate you from your suffering, that they would liberate all of you from your suffering. And this has not happened. And even though you are clearly able to see this, you are still caught into listening to their voices and not recognizing their acts until, of course, it is too late. And then you displace one and another takes its place, one devil after another. Debt is the most obvious symptom of deception. Debt is the most obvious symptom of deception, that you have been deceived. And you must pay attention to this. Those that lead ought to be able to demonstrate what they say, not simply speak what they say. And you find your humanity in great turmoil right now because of this deceptiveness. Your leadership, for the most part globally, has gotten very good and adept at manipulating you with words and sweet tones and promises. And your goodness is such that they have leveraged it tremendously, that you would believe simply what they say, and you have put nothing in place to protect yourselves from these demons. You have not put law in place to protect yourself from these demons, that if they do not do as they say, they should not be in their positions of authority over you. For those in positions of political authority have done so under the understanding that they are in service to you and not to themselves. And you must come to understand this. Those in public service have declared by their choice that they would serve you and not themselves. And the vast majority of your public servants do just this. Those men that clean your streets and fight your fires and uphold your law. Those men that work for the governments to build homes and structures and places where you can commune and enjoy, they serve you. And these are the people that do as they say and say as they do. Not the politicians now that have learned to speak sweetly like serpents. The easiest way to understand their deceptiveness is debt. And the debt of each and every one of you, the debt of every country, is what has been stolen and taken from you. And it is in the hands of but a few. Understand that you are at a very, very sensitive juncture in your process in this world. You are crossing a threshold, or at least on the very edge of that threshold, between what many of you have been calling this process of suffering greatly or healing tremendously. You have but two masters that you can serve in this world of humanity: love or fear. Debt is not a function of love, it is a function of greed and fear. Greed is a child of fear. Understand this. Greed is a child of fear. It is important you understand this. By your religious texts, it's by the fruit of those that you will know who they are. By their fruit, by their actions, not by their words, but by their deeds, you will know them. And the suffering of man is because of the few devils in this world that have lulled you into giving them your trust, divesting yourself of your own authority and entrusting them with it. I encourage you to see what we showed this one of your leader dancing in the street before you to reveal to you how overjoyed and happy he is about what has happened. For it benefits his pocket. And it will be known. Debt is the most obvious symptom of greed. Debt is the most obvious symptom of greed, or at the very least, a lack of a proper understanding of knowledge. But all of your countries and the vast majority of your people are in debt. And how did this come about? It is not that difficult to go back into your human history over the last 200 years, and you will see that the function of debt was propagated and perpetuated as a beneficent thing. That to give is more blessed than to receive. You've been deceived, and your cities are burning, and your countries are at war, and your people are starving, because the sweet spoken words of these devils in your midst that have assumed positions of authority in your world, they have spoken to you as did the serpents to your biblical and mythical figures, Eve and Adam. They've treated you just in the same fashion, spoken to you and articulated to you, sounded very sweetly to you and with great promise. And debt is the single most obvious symptom of their greed, not your failings. And yet you bear the reaping of their greed. You get to reap the effects of their greed. And why would you reward them? You know, John once told me, he said, William, he said, if people really wanted to know that their politicians would serve them, that you would recognize that the politician would only receive according to his service. Yet you got politicians that can invest while they're in office, that can borrow money while they're in office, that can run business interests or have people run business interests for them. He said, William, a true server of civil service are those that truly serve the public, that truly serve without any to be a public servant, he said, means to be able to really literally serve without any regard for one's own grandiosity, right? And it was very, very important. But he wanted to articulate this message that you must understand that many of the politicians speak very sweetly. And they all, he just wants me to remind you, by the function of debt, you know that you have been deceived. Globally, not just in America or Canada or South America, every country that is in debt, he says it's very important you understand, debt is the hallmark of the serpent's work in your world. And by serpent, he means evil people. People that have no care or concern for you, your family, or your well-being, but have only concern and care for themselves. And he said, debt is the most blatant and obvious symptom. He said, you do not spend today what you do not have tomorrow. You use what you have and you grow it and you cultivate it, you nurture it, you develop it. Like an apple, a single apple can make an orchard. A single apple can make an orchard. And you've given trillions of dollars. I'm speaking to all of you have given trillions of dollars to your leaders around the world, and yet still you suffer, so many of you, in disease, in sickness, in death. Many of you suffer and struggle to have a home. You do not realize that you must pay attention not to their words, but to their deeds. You must put in place rule and law that says those that serve, if they do not serve well, shall not serve. That there should be a remittance process in place where those that fail to serve you correctly will be placed in a position to compensate you for their error rather than punish you for their error. For you pay the benefit to them for your suffering, because you have no rule of law in place that prevents those that proclaim to serve you from being responsible for their mismanagement, their misdeeds, and their evil. Many of your politicians are simply evil and greedy individuals that seek to take from you, and the function of debt reveals the truth and the magnitude of their deception to you. The debt that you see is the benefit that you were meant to have. The debt that you see in the world is meant to be the benefit that you would have. But those that took what you gave so freely in trust to them has been taken by them and held in their castles and in their banks and in their pockets and in their properties. They hold your wealth. Debt is not an error on your part, but an indication of your goodness and your generosity to those that would serve you, that have not served you well. And so it becomes very important you understand that you have done no harm. Those of you that are suffering, you have done no harm. You have been harmed. You have been harmed by those that would proclaim to serve you. The statement, by their fruits you shall know them, by debt you shall know who they are. That is your wealth that you see in their pockets. That is what debt is. It is your wealth in someone else's pockets. And those who would proclaim to serve you, if they do not do as they say, but all they do is say what they say, but do not do as they say, they should not and should be instantaneously removed from their positions of authority. And you must put such functions of law in place globally and universally, that those that do not do as they say should be removed from their positions of authority immediately. And yet you have been taught by those that would organize your functions of religion to believe that to forgive is divine, that you can forgive them for their evil, but look at your debt today. You've forgiven them plenty enough. The function of religious dogma is to keep individuals in positions where you remain subservient by even the illusion of divine proclamation that would say, you must forgive those that harm you. No, you must not forgive those that harm you. You must hold them accountable Forgiveness is what you yourself must do to alleviate your pain and your suffering, but you must hold those accountable. You can forgive them, but you must still hold them accountable. Forgiveness does not mean to allow them to get away with their wrong deeds. That is not what forgiveness was meant to articulate. Forgiveness is to let go of your anger and your rage towards their wrongfulness, but hold them accountable for it. But both religion and politics work very effectively together to keep you enslaved, that you cannot go one way or another without doing something wrong. That if you do not forgive them, if you hold them accountable, you are wrong. And that is not true. To hold them accountable for their wrongs must be done. You are not at fault for the truth. You're not at fault for the truth. And any and all of your leaders that would proclaim to serve you and guide you onto paths of prosperity and righteousness, if you're not on a path of prosperity and righteousness, then they should be expunged from their position. And you should be compensated by them. Their wealth should be forfeit to you. Their wealth should be forfeit to you who gave them that wealth in the first place. Understand, what you see as debt around your world is what has been stolen from you. It is what you've been assuaged into giving them with their sweet talking words. How they would promise you this and promise you that. You must put law in place that says a servant who is here to serve must serve, and serve well or not at all. But you have not done this. You have let them create the law that would govern you, rather than you saying, no, this is what we want you to do. If you do this, then you shall be rewarded. If you do not do this, then you shall be not rewarded. It is very simple. But do not be so hard on yourselves when you look at the debt that you find yourself in. Understand, this has been taken from you. You were lulled into certain beliefs and ideas that are not accurately true. You've been told by the sweet sounds of their voices that they would do something which they have not done. And you say it happens again and again and again, and we say to you, do not trust in what they say, and have functions and rules of law in place in your civilizations that say, those that say, I am here to serve my people, must serve them well or not at all. By their actions you will know this. And yet one will leave out the door with his pockets filled, and the other will come and speak to you sweetly again. You say, oh, because this is a new person and they speak sweetly, they must be telling me the truth. Do not listen to simply their words. You can know by their acts your debt is increasing. Virtually every political leader in your systems of human politics are deceptive to you. They're deceptive to you. The function of debt reveals this. The function of disease reveals this. The function of homelessness reveals this. It is easy to see revealed in the world around you what has been done. And so it is your duty to your people to formulate structures and rule of law that define the functions of a leader, one who would choose to serve you as a leader. That they do as they say, not say as they say. And that when they do not do as they say, they should be relieved of their position of responsibility and authority, for they cannot demonstrate that which they say. And so many of your politicians speak with the serpent's tongue, lulling you into the illusion of comfort and the promise of goodness in your future, and then offer you excuses and lies and deceptiveness. But I say to you again, if you evaluate the debt that you have in all of your countries, that is what has been stolen from the people. Debt is the reflection of that which has been stolen. Debt is the reflection of that which has been stolen from the people. If an apple will make an entire orchard, why would not $1 do the same if rightly used? Prosperity is a divine function. Prosperity is a divine function. Where one apple might feed but one person, the apple rightly used could feed 10,000. If it is rightly used, any dime or any dollar will prosper all when rightly used. Now, what really, I'm sorry, I'm just going to step in here for a moment. So, what really upset me about this, it's upsetting period to see what's happening in California, and not just California, around the world, where political leaders are full of hot air, but no substance. But to watch Gavin Newsom in that clip, and I hope you search for it on YouTube, clip where Gavin Newsom dances to a reporter, and he's smiling and he's gleeful about what's going on, about this conversation he's had with the mayor of Hawaii about speculation on land. This man is literally smiling, almost in joy, almost dancing a dance of joy at the destructiveness. I hope you look for that clip. He let his facade slip to reveal his inner workings. And you'll see it on his face. You'll see it on the mayor of Los Angeles' face, the same thing. He slipped. He lost his facade. And most politicians don't lose that. They don't reveal that glee that they have, that they've found some way to orchestrate stealing billions of dollars, right? As did certain administrations around the world steal billions of dollars to fight a war that is meaningless. It's meaningless to the people, but it's detrimental to the people. Anyway, I want to say thank you, John, for being present with us today. Yeah, he wants to just insist, you must understand that when you see global debt, it's what that function of debt, like the trillions of dollars of debt that are in the United States, the billions of debt in Canada and many other places around the world, those are reflections of what has been stolen from the people and put in the pockets of the politicians, the bankers, the leaders. So don't ever think that you're in debt because of what they've done. They've stolen your wealth. This is what's happened. Your politicians have stolen your wealth. I like the allegory, what John said about the apple. A single apple will feed one person. But rightly used, that apple can be made into an entire orchard and feed thousands. It's really simple. The statement he said earlier that debt, I'm paraphrasing now, that debt is a function of evil, prosperity a function divine, right? That debt is not a divine function, it's a function of evil. Whereas as prosperity is a divine function, it's natural. It's natural in observing healthy laws that you can prosper. Anyway, he wanted to say that today, and I was a little uncomfortable with it because it's so blatantly in our faces that it can be hard to hold politicians accountable. And what was said earlier, there must be laws put in place globally. Every country should have a law in place that says, if you want to serve the public in a leadership role, like a president or prime minister or a minister or a congressman or a senator or whatever position that is, that you are there to serve people, then what is done should be the benchmark that determines whether you should stay in power. There should be laws in place that say, the minute you fail to do your job, you're fired. Literally, instantly. There should be laws in place to protect you from your politicians. Because there were no laws in place to protect you with the fires in Los Angeles. There were no laws in place to protect people from war in Ukraine. There was no laws in place to protect the illegal use of money that's happened in Ukraine. No, Ukraine's a giant washing machine, in my personal opinion, right? That's what Ukraine has been, is a giant washing machine for the Western world and corrupt politicians. But that really struck me when John said, William, debt is the reflection of how much has been stolen from the people. And he said, I wanted to tell him that, so he's done that. So there we are. Wow. So keep that in mind. There's nothing to protect you if you do not understand the function of law, and you must get you must put in place, you must use your influence over your leaders to get them to ink into place laws in every country that says if a leader does not serve the public according to what they say, then they're fired instantly. No recourse, no reprieve. They need to be held accountable, and they're not. When he first articulated that the way the politicians speak, he said, notice the way they speak. They speak very sweetly. They speak really sweetly about how much hope. He said people are lost, they're lulled, just like in the biblical story of Adam and Eve. Politicians are like that serpent now, where they can speak sweetly and cause you to bite the apple, their ideas they give you. But please understand that there's nothing wrong with you. With nothing wrong with you as a person. You've been led and misled by a political elite that have just gotten, I mean, they're so blatant. I mean, that he would do a happy dance on TV practically. And that Joe Biden would pardon his son, knowing his son did evil and wrong and bad. You understand? The evil is so blatant now that they're starting wars, stealing billions of dollars, stealing the wealth of the people. They're just doing it right in front of you now. The child sex industry, all this stuff now, slaves and sex trade industry is propagating, and it's right in front of you, and you know it is. You see it. It's because you've been lulled into trusting into beings that you cannot trust. So there needs to be laws and rules put in place universally that says if you want to serve the public, then you must demonstrate, not just say. Please do that. Like, connect your existing leaders and say, this is what you want. Make it, whatever country you're in, make it the foundation that any political leader that wants to come to a position of power, any political leader, that they do what they say, and that they do not, if their words and their actions do not match, they're gone immediately. No further salary, no pensions, no special benefits. They're gone. Period. That's what we need to do with politicians. If you're going to serve the public, look at the guy that does the street cleaning, the garbage man, the truck driver. These beings serve the public all the time. You don't hear about them. They make a small wage and a salary, but they keep your streets clean. You know, they keep your lights on. They keep buildings going up. People that truly serve the public, thank you. People that truly serve the public are doing what they say, not saying what they'll do. Just look, you can see that. You know, fathers and mothers that love their children, it's easy to tell when a father and mother loves their children. They do what they say. Yes, I will. So he's also telling me to tell you, your politicians are lost. The vast majority of them have fallen astray. The vast majority, not all. There are a few that are beginning, that have gotten people, good people such as yourselves, that have said enough is enough. Let us do the things that need to be done and not just simply speak about them. Very interesting. Very interesting. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Yeah, that was a very different realm to be in. Hi, everybody. We're just going to scroll up here and see what we got going on. Welcome, everybody. Hi, Kathy. Good to see you there. Thank you for your support today. Really appreciate it. That's my jurisdictional why. Well, yeah, the fact that, I mean, if you go on YouTube and search Gavin Newsom dancing, or the guy, then what's interesting is the guy that did the expert analysis of body language, Jesus, I can't remember his last name, did the analysis of Gavin Newsom's body language and did the analysis of the mayor of Los Angeles' body language as they spoke. And before I even seen that clip, I had watched the original interview with Gavin Newsom and this reporter. I forget the news station, but where he's literally dancing and smiling. Like I was just shocked that the way he was talking about land speculation was like he'd had some sort of a benefit that we didn't know about. But anybody with half an ounce of brains can see clearly that his behaviors and actions were consistent with somebody being very happy about something that he was talking about. The behavior was congruent with his inner thoughts and feelings. I hope you do look at that clip. Hi Tanya, they are the law. How are we going to put the law into place? They make the law. They will continue to steal and lie and taking taxes. That's what you need to. You have to decide. You have to choose someone. I mean, like I'm looking at the president-elect Donald Trump, and I'm not American. I would love to be. I think I might actually move in that direction because if he continues to demonstrate, as he did in his first term, he did what he said. He was impeded and blocked at many turns in trying to accomplish some things. And if he proves to be doing everything he says, as he did in the first time, he didn't start any wars, he ended wars. They're functional things that he demonstrated that most politicians don't demonstrate. And if that's true, then we're actually seeing a rise of politicians that are going to do as they say, not simply say as they say. And you speak to them, those men and women that you know of integrity, of good conscience. Tell them what you want. Say, go to your congressman, go to your senators, go to your members of parliament, whatever your country is in, whatever your political structure is. Go to yours. Get the people from your districts or ridings and go to those places. And go to your politicians and say, this is what we want. We want you to push for this. This is what we want. And if you don't get it done, then we'll find somebody else to do it. And that's what you have to do. You have to say, if you're not going to do this, we're not going to vote for you. First and foremost, this has to be done. We need to put laws in place that hold politicians accountable to their words. That if their words and their actions do not match, they're gone immediately. No investigations, no special committees. You fail, you're done. If a garbage man was throwing garbage on the street every time he picked up a pail instead of putting it in the back of the truck, would you want him working for you? No, you wouldn't. And yet, this idea that John said about if you look at the world debt, that's how much money has been stolen from the people. That's the wealth of the people. Debt is the wealth of the people stolen from them. Because that money went somewhere. Money's somewhere. So whenever you see a deficit, like in Canada, I think it's $62 billion, a $62 billion deficit by the Liberal government, that's how much money the Liberal government stole from the people. 62 billion is what's been stolen from Canadians. The trillions of dollars of debt in the United States are a reflection of the trillions of dollars that have been stolen from the people. Understand that debt is a reflection of what's been taken from you by your leaders. That's what debt is. Keep that in mind. Some countries put their leaders to fight in revolts. It's very true. Good morning, Soul Family. Good morning to you too. Hi, Jasmine. I'm not trying to do prophecy. I'm just communicating information my guardian angel gave to me today. I'm not about prophecy. I sometimes get information and inspiration, and I'll share that. But prophecy is a very, very tricky business when you understand that every human individual on the planet is collectively contributing to the process of creation. No matter what you are, whether you're a drunkard on the street or a man in a castle or a woman as a mother, every single living being is contributing to what's happening. We are contributing to our suffering as much as we're contributing to our benefits. that we would allow people in positions of power to misuse their power, to steal your money, to improperly manage money, that's our fault. That's on us too. But once you know you've made the mistake, you stop doing it. They have to be held accountable. But prophecy can alter and change according to your consciousness, to changes in human sentiment, in changes in our vision. Your future can be a specific way based on what you think, feel, and believe. But if you change what you think, feel, and believe, you'll change your future timelines. You can change your future from your present. You can't change it from the future. You can change it from what you think, feel, say, and do is going to lead you to inevitable outcomes. When you change what you think, feel, say, and do, it will lead you to a different set of circumstances. So prophecy can be altered and changed according to individual and collective beliefs and ideas. Because humans, as a collective whole, we're creating an experience called the human experience, the experience of humanity, including suffering and pain. We are collectively creating that together. But there are certain individuals that gain great benefit from suffering. You look at the cobalt mines in Africa, where young children and people are going into these cobalt mines and barehanded and pulling cobalt out to put bread on their table every day to make our cell phones and much of our so-called electrical car industries based on these individuals suffering terribly in the Middle East, particularly in Africa, particularly the Congo, where very mineral-rich elements in the Congo. So a lot of suffering is perpetuated by ignorance. Super chat from Jasmine. Thank you for that super sticker chat, Jasmine. I really appreciate it. In my meditation, I saw a man singing and blowing to my shoulder. Who was this? Is it my guide? Is there a name, please? The name I'm getting immediately, Jasmine, is Jason. I'm getting a name, Jason, and he's saying to me to tell you, go where the wind blows. What shoulder was he blowing from, and what direction was it taking you? He wants you to feel the direction it's taking you in, feel the sensation of that. And yes, he is one of your guardian angels. One of. Americans cannot prophesy to Americans. No. Why I can hear from Hawaii. It's great that you're from Hawaii. Congratulations. I'm glad you're here with us. You got to check on fruit and shepherding. Yes, fruit. Grow your own food. Take care of yourselves. You need to learn to grow your own food. Because governments are now controlling your food. Now they're controlling who you can be with. Licenses, all these things. They didn't exist 100 years ago. Licensing, permits to build your home, to add on to things. Those things did not exist. Understand that you're being shaken down. Humanity's been shaken down by the devil. And that devil goes back to organized churches and religions that consolidate the wealth of the people. No? Anyway, just a thought, my own personal sentiment. Hi, good morning. Thank you for the badges. Appreciate the gifts. Oh, Kathy, thank you so much. What is that anyway, that cabbage thing with the head? Thank you so much. I'm down to join the cult. This is, well, you know what a cult is? You should look up the word cult in the dictionary. A cult is any structured organization that has a specific philosophy of thinking, right? And the word itself, the vibration of the word cult is very derogatory and negative, because it presumes that there's a certain secular form of organization, but the Catholic Church is a cult. The Muslim religion is a cult. The Judaic philosophy is a cult. The function of the Jesuits is a cult. Government organizations are cults. Sports teams are cults. Any organization dedicated to a specific function is cult. But let's ask the question, what is the function of service? What is the function of service of a politician? Is the function of service to make your life better? If that's the case, why your life not better? A cult, in the sense that you presented it energetically, because I can feel the energy that you put behind that word. The energy of a cult is control and manipulation to the benefit of some, at the detriment to the many. That's what I believe a cult is, where some benefit at the expense of many. That's what I believe a cult is. You know, this show is free. Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. This is given to people. We offer Q&A. I channel my guides, my angels, ascended masters. It's not an expectation. It's a true, sincere desire to provide information, knowledge, wisdom, and truth to those that are ready, willing, and able to receive it and apply it in their own lives. Most people just come and go here. I'm not attached to how many subscribers or how many followers that I have. It's nice when that happens because it gives the algorithms the opportunity to elevate up and present this information to more people. My single primary focus in doing this work is to help elevate human collective unconsciousness to a collective state of love and away from the collective state of fear that we've been living in for so many thousands of years, right? But you're welcome to join. The support is always helpful. Share what you learn with other people, right? Hi. My father does this. I keep trying because I love, but he keeps bringing me to anger and I cry every time. Remember, people can only manipulate you if you allow them to manipulate you. You know, there are only two actions that any human being can perform in any moment. There's only two actions, two functions available to every human being. And it's really simple. Every action, every word that a human can perform can only come from one of two sources, either love or fear. You've got your choice between those two. In any moment, even now, whatever I say, whatever I do will come from either love or fear. Anything you will ever say or do will come from love or come from fear. Anything anyone will ever do before, now, and after will only come from either love or fear. Every action, every word of a human being is either a function of love or a function of fear. That's it. It's that simple. And you can know every person by what they say and do. Is it of love or is it of fear? And mostly by what they do, not what they say. What they do, not what they say. Debt is a function of fear. Debt is not a function of love. You know, so you look at anyone and you use that as a benchmark with anybody you see. Is what they're saying, is what they're doing. And you can ask yourself, is what I'm saying? Ask yourself, is what you are saying or what you're doing, is it coming from love or fear? Greed is a function of fear. Anger is a function of fear. Guilt is a function of fear. Shame is a function of fear. War is a function of fear. What are functions of love? Compassion, kindness, patience, peace, prosperity, creativity. Love and fear have very different functions and very different outcomes because of their function. And it becomes very easy to take yourself back towards the path of love and away from the path of fear if you start to evaluate, what are you saying? Are the words you're speaking words of love? Will they do well? Are the actions you're doing, do they benefit yourself and others? And every single word and action a human being can perform before, now, and ever after can only be from love or fear. It's that simple. There's no complexity, no deep dive analysis of trying to figure it all out. No 10 years of figuring a whole psychological process out to understand why people behave this way. Why is this person psychotic? Why is this person beautiful? There's no complex process involved in understanding human psychology. It's very simple. Every thought or every action can come from love or fear. Every thought, every memory in your mind is either of love or fear. What you hold in your mind can be of love or fear. You can let go of thoughts from your mind. You can let go of your fearful thoughts, and you can replace them with loving thoughts. So every possible change in your life is going to come with your understanding and knowledge that there's only two masters you can serve in this world, love or fear. And in your life. And those are the only masters anybody can serve. Your loved ones, your family, your politicians, your doctors, your lawyers. The only things you can serve are love or fear. God or the devil, good or evil. It doesn't matter what you want to call it. You only have those two choices, love or fear. What will you serve today? What will your words be of love or fear? What will your actions be? And actions are what give us experiences. Words are just the idea, but actions give us experiences. And if your words and your actions are of love, then you'll experience that in your life. So if your father or other people around you are coming from fear, then do not engage yourself with them. Do not participate. Or ask them, why are you so afraid? Why are you attacking me? Because sometimes you might think that they're being mean to you when they're actually caring about you. They're so desperate to see you stop doing the things you're doing that hurt yourself that they're like terrified you're going to hurt yourself. They are in fear that you might hurt yourself. And so their actions and words come from that fear rather than saying, I really love and care about you. I don't want you to hurt yourself. Versus, you shouldn't be doing that because it's terrible and bad. Versus, I love you. I care about you. I want to see you being healthy and happy. I really don't want. There's a very big difference between those two. We're talking about the same thing. So let's say you're getting into the wrong crowd and stuff is going on that you don't want to have. That's not good for you. And your mother or your father say to you, don't you do that. That's wrong and bad. And even though they're saying that because they don't want you to get hurt, it's coming out in a way that doesn't reflect their love. But if they said to you, I love you so much, and I'm really concerned that you might get harmed or hurt by engaging with those people. They live this way and it could really hurt you. And then the choice is yours, whether you're going to listen to them or not. Because you have the freedom to choose. Every one of us does, right? But yeah, don't get engaged in people's fear. Don't do that. Hi. Satan is a liar. I love that. That's very true. Satan is a liar. And Satan doesn't just refer to a specific persona. Satan refers to evil and all forms of evil, whether it comes from the priest, the minister, the rabbi, the doctor, the priest, the lawyer, whoever it comes from. If evil comes, then you're a function of evil. And we've all had our moments where we've been down that road. I certainly haven't been an angel my entire life, right? But I'm dedicating the rest of my life to making it right. Hi. How you doing? Just scrolling down there. Hi. Many live their entire lives without coming to the knowledge of faith. That's very, very true, William. Very, very true. A lot of people will spend many lifetimes. I've talked to many people that have had many lifetimes. I've had many lifetimes where I've not come to the truth. But you still have a chance in this life. If you're hearing these words, you have a chance to turn it around. Just ask yourself that question before you say anything or do anything. Is this of love or is this of fear? Is this of love or this of fear? So you go to your politician, you say, I only want you to do what you're going to say. And if you do not do what you're going to say, you're fired. Because you want them to, you're putting them in a position to take care of you, right? I hope you really work on that. Get politicians around the world laws must be made that if they do not do as they say, a politician should be fired. Because with proper planning, you look at Elon Musk, who's building rocket ships and Starlink and all these different things. He does as he says. Another example is Donald Trump, does as he says. Jeff Bezos does as he says. Highly successful people tend to do as they say, and they're not in debt, and they don't indebt others. They benefit others. The shareholders and stockholders of the creations that these individuals I just mentioned all benefit. People that do as they say will benefit those because they do as they say. Right? Hi. Thank you for that super sticker, Amanda. I really appreciate it. Did I miss a question from you? Hi. Hi. Thank you. Oh, you're very welcome, Kathy. Thank you so much for being managing the cheering section over on TikTok. I really appreciate that. Hi. God is bringing them down right now, ain't he? Yes, he is. There, I was told 2 years ago by Jesus, he said, all of the evil around the world is collapsing. Not some of it, all of it. All of it. Like that whole thing with Gavin Newsom. And you please watch that clip and share it. Please watch it and share it. It's getting to the point where their evil is they're so bold with their evil that they're not even able to hide it anymore. Right? And the few politicians that I've been watching that are now coming to the forefront, let us see if they do as they say. And if they do, then we could see a whole new golden age of humanity. And that's what I've been told that that's what we would see with Donald Trump coming into power, is we would see an emergence of the golden age of humanity, because he is a man of God. Very few politicians speak of either Jesus or God, and he speaks freely about Jesus and he speaks freely about God. And he does as he says. Right? Most politicians don't do as they say. That's why we're in debt, right? Because they lie. And there are other politicians like Donald Trump emerging around the world. And it's not going to be easy for them, because so many people have been manipulated into, I remind you of Archangel Michael. I love Archangel Michael. I love when he comes. Archangel Michael has been with me since I was like 5 years of age. When I was 5, I was given this little bicycle, and I was riding this bicycle downhill. When I was 5, you could go anywhere. The streets were safe. I was living in a place called Don Mills in Toronto then. And I'm riding down this hill with my bicycle, and the front wheel falls off, right? And I naturally pulled the steering wheel up, so I'm going kind of down on one wheel down this hill called Don Mills Road, and I went off the side, and fortunately, when the forks went down, I got catapulted off the bike, and I landed on the grass and not the cement. And the bike tumbled beside me, and the wheel rolled down the hill, and at that exact minute, a police officer just came pulling up right behind me, picked me up, put the bike in the car, and drove down the hill and got the other tire, took me to a store and bought me an ice cream because I was crying, because I was really upset about my bike and falling. And in retrospect, I remember that was the very first time Archangel Michael had sent another human being to intervene, to protect me. And I've had many instances in my life where guides, angels, ascended masters have intervened for me personally. Yeah, so they exist. Archangel Michael, I love his work. He's a beautiful soul. Yeah, the whole house is crashing down, every evil revealed and consequences rising. That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. Remember, for those of you listening, remember this, that the debt you see in the world, when they talk about the debt of the country, the debt of the planet, that is how much wealth has been stolen from the people. That's what's been stolen from you. Debt is the wealth that has been stolen from you. And they would lead you to believe that somehow you're at fault for what they've done. Oh, you have to help us. They want to steal more money from you. Taxes is forced slavery, right? Taxation is forced slavery, right? That's my personal opinion. They have a slightly different opinion, but the evil is coming down. It's all going to come down. It's been falling like in free fall now. Right? Men of God. I'm told that men of God are now, men who know God in their own heart are now coming forward. And not just from the world of the politics, they're coming from average people that have lived in it. I mean, this new Secretary of State that the American people are going to get is someone who's actually fought in war. He knows soldier, he knows the military, he's experienced it, he's lived it, he's breathed it. And you're getting people that know what they do, not just talk about it, right? Gavin Newsom, that snake oil salesman, I'll tell you. And same with Justin Trudeau, an evil, he's learned to speak well. You got to watch out. Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister, the most loathed Prime Minister in Canadian history, okay? That's my personal opinion. In the beginning, he could speak so sweetly. Now he's not. Anytime anybody hears his voice, he's nauseating to people now. But it's their voice, like the serpent's voice. You got to watch this. In Christian mythology, in the Garden of Eden, it talks about how the serpent spoke to Eve, and he convinced her in a very sweet and suave way to share the apple with Adam. You will get all of these wonderful treasures because you'll have all this knowledge. And snake oil politicians do that too. They say, oh, if you vote for me, you're going to get this and you're going to get this. They're the serpent. The serpent doesn't just refer to a story in Christian mythology. Serpent refers to anybody that would mislead you with the sweet promises and ideas that they would offer you, right? Prosperity for all, right? And yet the debt goes up. Isn't that ironic? They say one thing and they do another. Confusing. Anything I can tell, Rain wants to know, is there anything you can tell me about meeting my life partner? Yes, I'll tell you, this is what I'm getting instantaneously. You must understand that if you're seeking your partner, the one that will walk with you in this journey, there must be a function of purpose. What and whom are you here to serve? What and whom are you here to serve? You want to be in service, whether it is to be a mother or a father, to decide that you are choosing partnership to be of service is very powerful. It must be in the realm of service, Irene. And you're going to see more and more of that where husbands and wives, people will come together because of the service of their function, the function of service. What is it you're going to offer your neighborhood? What is it you're going to do to make the world a better place? That's what your partnership, you must be open to that reality. What is the function of service? So when you define partnership, define your function of service. My partnership, my relationship, we will purpose it for this, right? Myself and Norma, we're engaged in articulating these messages, and we got hundreds of hours of sessions of channeling that have been given to us. And our whole focus is to bring humanity collectively from fear to love, to help lead humanity back from fear to living in love, right? That's our whole function for the rest of this lifetime, is to provide information, knowledge, these free events that will offer people a chance to surrender their fear and restore themselves to love. Yeah. Am I really going to be safe for the next week? Yes, you will, Leslie. You need to understand that much of what you say holds the vibration of what you fear. You must let go of your fear and say, I am guided in all ways by God's love. Try that. I'm divided in all ways by God's love. Try that. That might work for you. For this week, do that. I am guided in all ways by God's love. Do that. Because always means everything that you're connected to. And always, your life is guided by God's love. Consider that possibility. Right? Keep climbing. I love that, Michael. Thank you. I really want to be a mother. That is the function. How can I use that to bring that partner forward? Well, understanding the function, and that you, like, literally go inside. There's a consciousness inside us. It's beating your heart right now. Whether you want to call it God or spirit, God's the best term for it, right? But it lives inside you. It's beating your heart right now. You're not beating your heart. You're not digesting your food. Something is doing that in your body. It doesn't matter what science says about the biomechanical processes and the electromagnetic flows and the nervous impulses. They have something that causes them to affect. But this divinity, this God, lives within you. So turn to it in your heart and say, this, I wish to bring into this world those that may be of service to you. Understand, to be of service as a mother, that you will serve life, you will serve love. Make that decision. As a mother, you want to bring more love to the world. Is that not correct? So in that function of commitment, I am ready to bring more love into this world. Make that commitment. I am here to bring more love into this world. As a mother, as a teacher, as as a father, as a sister, as a brother, as a worker, as a leader. Whatever you're doing, consider that possibility that you are here to bring more love into the world. Consider that. And it will come about fairly quickly, Irene, that if you dedicate yourself to the function of love, very different things can happen than wondering when it's going to happen or how it's going to happen. But make that commitment in your own heart right now that you're committed to bringing more love into the world. Because that's what mothers do when they give birth to a child. They bring new love into the world. It's such an amazing thing, isn't it? That a woman can bring more love into the world. Not just her own love, but more love, the love of others. And what a delight to see the light of a child come into this world with new hope and new possibilities. Each child offers new hope and new possibilities to humanity. So I hope you get into that, Irene, and have fun with it. Do not concern yourself with how it's going to happen. Once you're committed to something, the Spirit has a way of bringing it about. The infinite intelligence of the universe knows all things. It's all-knowing, all-powerful, everywhere present. So you need not concern yourself with all the things that you don't know. Because what you don't know, it knows. And if you're open to knowing what you do not know, you'll start to know new things. It's a very interesting process. Very exciting. Very, very exciting. Gnosis is key to transcending the material world. Yes, it is. It's one of the tools that were given to humanity. Gnosis. Meditation is another tool. But it's not the philosophy that is the key. It is the one who uses the key that opens the door. Gnosis is not the source. The source is the one that uses the key to open the door. So in the application of certain principles, certain spiritual concepts and ideas, in your application of that, you give life to the function. So you want to transcend suffering, then you must consider the function of what thoughts and what words and what actions would transcend suffering. And then you are the key to transcendence. You become the key. The philosophy, the idea, the teaching is but the key, but you are the one that must pick the key up and use it to open the door to transcendence. Right? In our masterclass series, we take people gently and carefully along that path of awakening to the path of liberation, to the path of creation, to the path of transcendence. There is a series of steps. Even Jesus teaches them. He teaches meditation. He teaches breathing. He teaches quieting the mind. There's functions that he teaches. John the Baptist did the same thing, right? Many of these, Yogananda, Buddha, many modern day teachers, many Reiki practitioners will teach the same thing. There's certain functions of the body and mind that you must train your mind and body to perform that will allow you to open the door to greater knowledge, wisdom, and information. But it's available to everybody. It's not for some people and not for others. Infinite knowledge, infinite love is available to everybody. Oh, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Why is this financial loss happening to me? Who are you? Bartman. Again, the emotions that you feel precipitate all of your experiences. The emotions that you feel precipitate all of your experiences. The emotion that you feel, this concern and this fear and this worry, are intimately connected to the effect that you see. Align yourself carefully and meticulously to freedom, to prosperity as a vibration, even in the face of your enemy, which is this condition or circumstance. It's your enemy. Even in the face of your enemy, hold to the faith that all is going to be well and good. Hold to that. What is happening is leading you to a better place of experience. Even if it does not appear that way, the mere alignment to the energy that everything is flowing in perfect and good order, the alignment to that emotional consideration will precipitate a change in the existing conditions. And I want to be honest with you. I spent, the vast majority of my life struggling with money, indebted, difficult, unhappy, miserable, emotionally dysfunctional. And you need to understand, you need to learn how to change your emotional energy, because emotional energy is what determines the effects that you're experiencing in your life. So if 10 years ago you had a very intense trauma around money or relationship, if you have not released the emotion from that trauma, then you will re-perpetuate it, right? So let go of the fear. Let go of the fear. Let it go. Release the fear and connect yourself to the joy of wealth and prosperity, the vibration. Feel it. Get deeply into it. Do this every single moment you can. And it will put the brakes on what you see. It'll literally put the brakes on what you see unfolding. Vibration and emotion organize all of your affairs. It doesn't matter who you are. Vibration and emotion organizes all of your affairs. There's not one experience in your life that is not orchestrated by vibrations of emotion. And you are the capacity of consciousness that can change your emotions. You can change your emotions. You can change your emotions. When you change your emotions, you change the function of actions in your world. Really simple. Thank you. Yeah, Krishna too. I love Krishna. Krishna's pretty cool. So thank you for that, William. I had tears in my eyes hearing you say this. It's so true. We've gotten so committed to fear that we've now allowed politicians to lead us down that path of suffering, right? Commit to love, not just as a word, but as what you do. Is it done with love? Is what the people you ask to serve you, is what they're doing of love? Debt is not an example of love. Debt is an example of thievery. Debt is an example of thievery. And the worldwide debt that you see, all these countries in debt, well, that debt represents how much money has been stolen by some individuals at the expense of everybody else. That is your wealth. Debt is your wealth that's been taken from you. Please hear this. The debt that you see in your countries is the wealth that has been taken from you and in the pockets of others. And you must create accountability, that if one that wishes to serve you, and your country and your people, then let what they do be the benchmark that allows them to be blessed with the opportunity to serve you. And if what they say and what they do not match, then do not keep them. You must put things in place that say, oh, you failed, go. We want somebody else who can do the job right. You must put laws in place universally. When the people are in debt, it's because your wealth has been stolen from you. And one may say, well, we gave them credit cards, they misused their credit cards. Yes, that is true. But those who created the credit cards still gain great benefit. You've been taught to believe that debt is good, that to borrow is good. No, debt is not good. It is a function of the devil, it is a function of evil. Prosperity, now that is a function of God. Debt is a function of the devil. Prosperity, a function of God. Very simple. By their fruits you shall know them. Someone's asking, William, may I ask the meaning of the large birds I am seeing constantly? Hawks, ravens. Thank you. Yeah, well, depending upon, again, the first thing I get is paying very close attention. The ravens represent, in your case, divine order. The ravens represent divine order. The hawks represent a part of your consciousness getting close to being able to hear spirit directly. They're just symbols. They're symbols of nature. Nature, the world around you will reflect what is within you, right? I know. I will. Hi, guys. Lots of comments today. Hi, everybody. Good to see you. 500,000 missing children that came across the border at the last few years. This is number one on my list. I know you have to understand there are cities underground that you don't know about, right? They exist. And there are beings that are very, very not good. They're good. They're not good. They've taken your wealth. They're taking your children, because there's no checks and balances to say, do as you say. Right? There's no checks and balances. I hope and pray that these children are found. And I don't know if that's true from my own personal experience. I only have heard that there are all these missing people. But you consider they can find people pretty quickly with technology, and all these other people can just vanish. You have to question that. So people running the system are in charge, right? And they're not serving you. They're serving themselves now, unfortunately. I'm being told not to get any further into that. Our minds were kidnapped, yes. But we need ourselves. What's that? We freed ourselves from illusion. We see some have. Yeah, some people have freed themselves from illusion, but the vast majority of people are still stuck in disillusionment. And the amount of pressure on the average person to keep you in fear, that's the big thing now. They create greater debt. They create a housing crisis. They create things that keep you in fear. And as long as you're in fear, you cannot create. Because love is a function of creation. Fear is a function of suffering. And so if they keep you in fear, they keep you in drugs, they keep you in alcohol, they keep you in, there's not enough money, they keep the prices out of reach, they keep you in fear. You cannot create in fear, but more of itself. And then to overcome your fear, they'll say, oh, we'll help you get rid of your fear. We'll end the housing crisis. We'll make better roads. They make all these promises. Oh, someone's going to get rid of my fear for me. And you run to them to do it. But they don't do it because you've got nothing in place. You have nothing in place to hold your leaders accountable that if they don't do as they say, gone. That should be there. It's a must. If you're garbage man or your auto mechanic, garbage man throwing his garbage on the street instead of in the truck, or the mechanic cutting the wires in your car instead of fixing it, you would never go to that mechanic. You would never have that garbage man come down your street again. Why do you allow politicians to do this to you? There must be rules in place for them that says if they do not do as they say, they're gone. Period. That's why I'm not a politician, because I make mistakes, and I know I make mistakes. I'm not that good yet, right? Yeah. Thank you for the badges. Thank you for the gifts. Really appreciate it. Do I have a message for you today? Grounding, very important for you. Grounding, go outside, get your feet on the ground or your hands on a tree, but you need to connect to the energy of your body needs you to connect to the earth. Now, if I didn't get to your questions today, or your considerations, I invite you to go book a reading through my website, WilliamMichaelForbes.com, or click the Linktree link below any of my videos, or on my TikTok profile page, you'll find my Linktree link, and you can book a reading there. Also, I want to remind you, you've got less than 6 weeks now to sign up for Masterclass 101 Awakening, which is an incredible 3-week program that will take you from a state of, wherever you are, to a state that's far more preferable in feeling good and well and happy about your being. In that 3-week program, you'll learn every single day from Sunday to Friday. You'll go through an experience that's going to let you gain a little more understanding and insight, not only into your own thoughts and emotions, but also help you to connect to your guides and angels, help you connect to your loved ones, to learn to sense and feel their presence, and to receive guidance that you cannot get from the world. Because a lot of people have their loved ones trying to talk to them and communicate with them. A lot of people are so caught up in their pain and their sadness they can't hear. When you learn how to gain access to information beyond what the world is telling you, you can really liberate yourself. But for 3 weeks, you'll go on a process from Sunday to Friday about an hour every single day, where you're going to learn how to connect to your guides, your angels. You're going to learn how to change what you eat. You're going to learn to communicate to the beings that you want to communicate to, and so much more. You're going to learn about meditation. You're going to learn about nutrition. It's a very intensive and powerful course that's going to take you away from suffering very quickly, because suffering is not your natural state. It's what you've been taught. But you've got only less than 6 weeks now to sign up. Time's going fast. It's called Masterclass 101 Awakening. Go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, and you can sign up there for it. And there's a pay after feature, so if you have to, you can pay after. There's a number of features you can use that will make it easier for you to take the course. It's very inexpensive. For 3 weeks, it's only $199, and you get a class every day from Sunday to Friday. And you get to work in an environment that's safe, working with other people. And it's a wonderful dynamic where you get to learn about yourself in a way that you'll never learn in any school. You won't learn the things you learn in this class anywhere else like this. So I invite you to take the time to do that today. And I also want to wish you all, much love. Make your day very wonderful and exciting. By the way, we also got like 4 different instructors in our program that work alongside us. So there's 4 other instructors, so you'll be learning from different people as well. And you'll have a common group that you can interact with every day. We have a chat feature. We have a group wall that everybody communes on that's private, so you can interact only with the students that you want to interact with. But I want to wish each and every one of you much love, and for those of you on TikTok and YouTube and Facebook right now, remember to like, subscribe, and share this information with the people. And I want to wish you a wonderful, joyful day. I'll see you guys all on Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then I'll see you after that on Saturday for our meditation segment. Have yourselves a very good and wondrous and joyful day. And I will see you guys on Friday. Bye for now.